Hey everybody, it's Kary Oberbrunner with Colin Moore. Colin Moore, let me tell you about this guy first of all. He is an amazing man of God. He's the captain of the Ohio State wrestling team. He's an NCAA All-American a bunch of times, Big Ten champ, Olympic qualifier, but some tragic news happened, and you're going to find out about that in just a moment. But he already sees the positive from this. And here's what I want to challenge each one of you. There's a lot of seniors who got their high school seasons canceled, their graduations. We're hearing about people's weddings, all kinds of stuff that's being um, basically delayed. And you know someone who needs to hear this tonight. So tag somebody, share it. Let us know that you can hear this as well. Colin, as we get started, my friend, we have a couple dozen people already jumping on. We're going to give away a prize tonight, and that is to the most engaged member. So whoever shows up, filled up, tweets, comments, tags, shares, we're going to give them an Amazon gift card away. And who knows what's going to happen. But Colin, welcome to the group here, my friend.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Well, listen, give us the play-by-play. I mean, talk to us about the week before Big Tens, because everybody was like, I even watched the Big Tens again just a few minutes ago. And I mean, not a few minutes ago, a few days ago. And they were saying, Colin, let's interview you, man. And, what's going to happen in 8 days or however many days. Talk to us about everything leading up to this season.
Yeah, I mean, going into Big Tens, just extremely, focused and just ready for the postseason. This was a unique end of our season because it was the first time we had about 3 weeks in between our last duel in the Big Ten championships.
Wow.
So, which is kind of unprecedented. So I was itching to compete again. I was ready for postseason. It was my last one. I was just, very just calm, but just ready to attack and wrestle.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and Big Tens went great. Felt like I wrestled really good during Big Tens, and
Mm-hmm.
then stuff started happening in the sports world. I think the Utah Jazz player tested, positive for coronavirus, and then the NBA started to shut down a lot of stuff, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, well that's not a great sign. And then all the professional sports leagues kind of followed suit and canceled and postponed a lot of stuff, and I was like, this is really weird. And then I would say the day it happened, I knew it was probably going to happen. That's when a lot of NCAA stuff started getting canceled. I think uh, women's women's Final Four got canceled. Men's, I think the conference tournament was going on, and they canceled the men's conference tournament, and pretty much all um, winter sports were kind of starting to go down. And then I remember our recruiting coordinator came down into practice, and he never comes down into practice. So it was like, okay, something's going on. And then about 5 minutes later, they called us all in, and they probably didn't have to say anything. I think we all knew, what was going down because we had all been talking about it. Um, Called us in, and then just broke the news. So
Gee,
yeah.
what was the mood in the room? I saw that picture that Tom took, or somebody took, where Tom's kind of like kneeling down talking to you, and that post went pretty much viral about how you guys are gladiators and you've trained your entire life. I mean, I want people to realize this like wrestling practice is hard. I mean, I know I've worked out with you before, and you're a beast. And I mean, we're climbing up ropes. We're doing, TRX. We're doing hanging on bars and all kinds of crazy stuff. But I mean, this wasn't just a few days. This wasn't a few years. How how many years have you been wrestling?
Probably since I was 5 or 6. So I think like 18, about 18 years around
18
there.
years. Wow. And people got to catch this because, some of us are complaining about not having toilet paper and stuff like that. But I mean, 18 years of your life, you've been practicing and training. And I mean, I saw you, I went to Cleveland and saw you. I was supposed to go to Minnesota with my dad and
Yeah.
see you. We had our ticket picked out, the hotel, the flight. I mean, the fan base, and first they said you were gonna do the tournament without any fans. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Was that
Which
like the first thing?
that was, I think that was one of the first announcements, which they still said family could go. So I was like, what, I'm down to wrestle, you know, if no one's there. So that wasn't too big of a announcement for us. We were still, ready to wrestle and go. Our families could still go and watch. Um, but it probably should have been a little warning sign to the bigger the bigger news.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And so, some people are watching this and they're having like their authors, their coaches, their speakers. Go ahead, folks, type in what your dream is. But talk to us about your freshman year. Didn't you wrestle Jaden Cox or something like that? And then he's like one of the best, and you actually took him down or something.
Yeah, so he just got off, like he just took bronze at the Olympics, and he was a returning, two-time NCAA champion. And I don't think many people had taken him down that much in the past 2 years, not even really at the world level. Um, and I caught him on a good day because I snuck two takedowns on him and almost put the match into overtime. So that kind of, I think I gained, some respect for the fans there, and it kind of raised some eyebrows. So that was a very interesting match. It was actually my first home match I ever wrestled at Ohio State.
That's
So
pretty
my
cool.
first time out in front of the home crowd was against him, and even though I lost, I got the match of the night award, the Russ Hellickson Award. So that was pretty cool.
That's cool. And we're gonna take this deeper here, but people are loving this, and people are saying what their dreams are, and Larry says he wants to be a writer, speaker, motivator. I don't know how many years he's been wanting to do that, but you were planning for 18 years. Let's go through it. Your freshman year, which first of all, it's amazing to start as a freshman, even a redshirt freshman. What did you do in the NCAA tournament that first year?
Um, I lost in the semis to a kid I had been going back and forth with all year. He beat me two times during the year. I finally got him in the Big Ten finals, and then lost to him in the semis, pretty close. And then came back and took third.
So you took third your freshman year. What did you do your sophomore year?
So sophomore year was pretty hectic. I was ranked first all year, supposed to win it, and then kind of towards the end of the season, um, started to fall through the cracks a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, took a couple losses in some big dual meets, and then got upset in the quarterfinals and nationals, and then came back and took fourth. So
Wow. Was that
fourth,
in Cleveland that year?
yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
yep. I hear you. I hear you. And then last year, talk to us about last year.
Last year, had a lot better, mentality going into season. Was ranked second. The guy who won 184 the past 2 years bumped up into my weight class from Penn State, Bo Nickel. Um, and he was my only three losses of the year. So I lost to him in the duel at Big Tens and then in the national finals. So I took second last year at nationals.
Now, I don't like Penn State. I'm just going to be real here now. Now, I mean, we've seen them win a bunch of years. We've seen Ohio State win in 2015, other times. And so we have a phrase in wrestling which is kind of like leave it on the mat, right? Which means what? It means you give it all. Talk to us a little
Yeah.
bit about that.
Leave it on the mat is just, I mean, we always talk about like the pain of regret versus like the pain of, discipline, or, just the pain of the moment. So leaving it on the mat just means everything you have. Empty the tank. Don't leave any excuses um, out there, and at least you won't have that pain of regret after you walk off one of those.
Yeah. And there's even a guy on the Buckeye team this year named Gas Tank Gary, who basically people just said this guy just has an endless gas tank. Like he keeps winning in the last second. Talk a
Yeah,
little bit about that, because there's a lot of people here right now that are saying, "Oh man, I can relate to Colin. I had my chance back in 2003 to get a promotion, or I could have proposed to that guy or girl or whatever." I mean, there's so many people who live in the past, and we're going to talk about your future and how it's super bright because of your faith in God in a moment. But talk to us right now about regret. Talk to us about Gas Tank Gary. Talk to us about leaving, just winning in the final seconds. Like, give us the mentality of a wrestler.
yeah. I think the mentality of a wrestler has to be very confident, but not cocky.
Ooh,
Um,
that's good. That's good.
so I think you have to be super confident, and that confidence, comes from the way you prepare every day, right? So you can't, confidence just doesn't come from anywhere. So I think um, Gary was always, a backup wrestler last year. Then Chase Singletary, who was
Oh
also
yeah.
a heavyweight, and Chase got hurt this year, so we threw Gary in the lineup, and he was prepared, and he grew those overtime wins. That first one gave him a lot of confidence. I think uh, once you say I can do something, or once you've seen it done, or once you do it that one time,
Mm-hmm.
then you have that confidence in the back of your head that's like, okay, yeah, I can do this. I've been here before, right? So just that like preparedness um, gives you that extra confidence and a little boost in
And
the
let's
match.
and yesterday, Colin, we talked all about our identity, and we talked about a book that I wrote called Your Secret Name, but it's all about your identity in Christ. Gas Tank Gary, like you just said, the first time he went into overtime and won. When did the nickname start? Because folks, this is huge. It went from being lucky or being, at the right place at the right time, which a lot of these people watching today, they're business leaders, and it became this identity for Gas Tank Gary, where now in the later seconds of the match, it's now like, I'm Gas Tank Gary. I can do this. This is me. This is my identity. How important is that as a mindset of a champion, that actually that becomes your identity?
Yeah, I think the nickname started off almost immediately. I think someone tweeted it, and then Ohio State Wrestling Twitter, I don't know who runs it, but they saw it,
Yeah.
and they were like, "Well, this is a good nickname." And then the next duel, he did the same thing. He got an overtime win, just a gritty win, and then everyone was like, "Okay, maybe he does have a gas tank." And I think Gary started to believe like, yeah, I'm not gonna get tired. That's my mo. Will take guys to the wire. I'll tire them out. And I think that's super important because if people know you have a gas tank too, it's a little daunting. Going into a match against someone who can go a full 7 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, they're out there with them and they're like, dang, I'm tired. And this dude's Gas Tank Gary, man.
Yeah.
And it's right. I mean, it like gets in your head and you start thinking, he's never going to stop. So it is such a mental sport. But I really think that the authors who are watching us, the coaches, the speakers, the men and women, it is a mindset. Don't you think that a lot of life, a lot of sports is really mindset?
Yeah, I think because I reflect back to my sophomore year, and my mindset was very weak. I was all about my image. About who like I would run and check Twitter after most matches to see what people were saying about me, and that was my mindset going into the match. Man, I hope I don't lose, and people say a bunch of bad stuff about me, and
Yeah.
it put so much extra stress and pressure just on everyday life. So I think having that mindset of, just confidence, you have a purpose, and confidence that you're doing the right things to achieve what your purpose is
Hmm.
has really helped me kind of focus on what I need to do.
That
You
is
know,
so good, man. And you know what, Colin? It doesn't change. Like, how old are you, by the way?
22.
22 years old. He's got his head screwed on straight. Um, I love the fact that you say you used to run to Twitter and see what people said, because you know what? There's a lot of authors here. They run to Amazon and they say, "Oh my gosh, someone gave me a 1-star review. Like, I'm so bad. My life's over." And it's ridiculous, but yet that's what we do when our identity's not in Christ. So how did you switch that within 2 years?
Um, I think after my sophomore year, getting upset at nationals really just kind of kicked me in the butt. It made me realize, I need to realign how I'm thinking. I can't go through another season of stress like that. So I've always grown up uh, a Christian. I was baptized in sixth grade and stuff, but I've gone through periods where I've grown closer to God and faded away. Um, but I think that definitely was a kick in the butt to, like, hey, you know, run back to run back to your faith. So I think that was a really big thing. Just realizing, just putting all those troubles and all the stuff you can't control in God's hands really just helped me, let go of worry, worrying about that stuff, and helped me focus on things that were going to make me better.
Man, you're getting a lot of shout outs here about being wise for your years, and people are gonna, this comment here, they're gonna, helpful for my teenage son. Listen, man, when I was about 22, 23, probably 22, I wanted to be an Air Force chaplain. And I mean, I had every bit of my dream in my heart into being an Air Force chaplain. And then when it came time to sign, childhood asthma kept me out. And I was mad. And I was mad at God. I mean, it sounds crazy, like, what? You're trying to serve God. But I mean, I remember not one of my proudest moments, but I remember like leaving the recruiter's office and just get in the car and like cussing out God, because I'm like, what the heck? I'm trying to serve you, and every step I take, it's like dream killed, dream killed, dream killed. I mean, how did you not? I mean, maybe you did get that mad, but this is crazy. You've been training since you're 5, and now you're 22, and you are undefeated this year. You're on scholarship.
Yeah,
You're on scholarship. This is your identity, that you're a captain of the team. And like, boom, coronavirus, which you can't even see, just literally is the enemy that takes your dream out.
yeah.
I mean, what did you think about God? Did it, you can be real, man. Were you like ticked? Were you
Um,
questioning?
I remember just right away, just being just sad.
Mm,
I was just like, "Oh, you're kidding me!" Like, and I wanted to have that, like, why me, mentality.
mhm.
Um, but I felt myself kind of fighting those back in the moment and just trying to just be sad for a little bit, just let it happen. don't get, because it was hard to get mad at someone, right? It was hard to get mad at something, right? It's just a freak thing that's happening to everyone around the world, right? So I just remember going out, calling my dad, um, talking to him right away, just by myself in the arena, and then just sat there and just tried to get some clarity, a little
Mhm.
bit of the situation. I didn't think it really sunk in, right away when you hear the news. It kind of took me a second to kind of wrap my head around it. But yeah, right away I just remember being just sad, just like
Yeah.
just
Yeah. Yeah.
this is it's
Because
everything happening.
it's almost like, you know what? It's a weird analogy, and maybe someone's going to rip me up to shreds, but I'm just going to say it because I go with my gut. Okay. And I've known people that have been close to me who've lost a child,
Yeah,
like in the very beginning. Like, we're talking like when the baby was born, the baby died or something. It's almost like that where you plan. I mean, you plan for months and you set up the nursery and you're in that mentality, and then boom, the dream is like killed. And yours wasn't just 9 months. Yours was, I don't even know, it was 17 years. I'm not good at math, but I think
yeah.
17 years. Um, did you just stop practicing? Like you're done? Like Coach Ryan said, okay, guys, like have a good life.
Yeah,
We'll see you. I mean,
yeah,
what happened?
yeah. It was crazy. I mean, we went. I was in the middle of like a pretty intense technique, like drill to get ready for someone I was gonna have, maybe in the quarters at nationals. And then they broke the news, and then it was like, yeah. I mean, practice was over. It was We're gonna meet tomorrow at this time to give you guys more details. But as of now, the room is shut down, so we haven't been allowed in the wrestling room since. We probably won't be allowed back in there till maybe mid April, hopefully.
Wow.
Um, so that's probably been the hardest part is just I can't I can't train. This has been my whole life. This is what I've done every day for the past, I don't know, 5, 10 years. Um, and I'm forced to not do it. Um, so I mean, that's been the hardest part. Just away from my team, away from my coaches, not being able to do what I love, is was probably the roughest part.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And we have Nancy who said, I lost my infant son after 6 weeks. The preparation for 9 months and the huge hole left.
Yeah, can't imagine.
Exactly. So, you know, you can relate. And before I even called you, because I mean, it's not like we're super tight, but I've been thinking about you because my dad and I were planning that trip, and I was like, how is Colin doing? Like I thought about that, and then all of a sudden, I felt like God wanted me to do this whole online conference, and then I asked Tom, and he said yes, and I'm like, I got to get to Colin. What words would you want to say today to someone who's maybe they're 17 and they don't have the maturity that you do, or they're 18, and I mean this was going to be their senior trip. Like at my
Yeah,
kids' school, the seniors had to cancel their missions trip like 3 days before leaving to the Dominican Republic, and that was like for 4 years, man. They're building up and they're saving for the trip. What would you tell someone right now, just how to bring sanity through this, how did you maintain your faith?
Um, I think I at the beginning of this year I really set out, a purpose outside of you know winning a national title. Um, I didn't want to go into every day thinking, my purpose of being here at Ohio State using this platform was just to win a national title, right? Because that can get taken away, stuff like this. So we were encouraged to find a purpose that couldn't get taken away from our opponents, the refs, outside forces. And I said my purpose was to, really inspire people to just better themselves, when they watch me wrestle, just in the way I would compete, the way I handled myself, my intensity,
Mhm.
um, just the way they watch me do what I love. I wanted that to inspire somebody. Um, and I feel like I was constantly praying all year for God to keep me on that path and just to give me like a peace of mind. I was constantly praying, for peace, especially when I competed. I would have coaches pray over me, um, just to give me a peace of mind, give me clarity, just give me like an intensity to fight. Um, so I think in a way, it kind of prepared me for this moment, right? Because I felt like I completed my purpose.
Wow.
My purpose wasn't taken away. Um, it really sucks that I had a goal and I couldn't get to it, but my overall purpose, right, I can still do that, just in the way I respond, to everything that is happening around me, right?
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, it's really important to have a purpose outside of, you know, um, just like a goal, right? Winning and losing, stuff like that.
There's a this is perfect, man, because our day to day is all about purpose. And you, which is ironic, not planned, but you said that your purpose in the beginning of the season was to glorify God. And folks, you got to catch this. This is gold. His purpose was to glorify God, and he got that straight and right during the beginning of the season. Now, fast forward, that hasn't changed. Like even canceling the NCAA tournament and taking away your dream, your goal is still the same. You're glorifying God right now. Carolyn says, by the way, Carolyn's husband just got out of massive surgery and almost died. And she, you're inspiring her, but she says, praising God for your godly response. So it's almost like no one could steal your goal. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah,
That's awesome. So here's what we're gonna do, folks.
yeah. I just
We're
remember.
oh, keep going. There's a little delay. Keep going.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. I just remember being like weirdly calm. A couple hours after, I felt like, man, like I should be more upset about this. And then the more I was thinking about it, I was like, well, I'm not. It's just a tournament in my life that got taken away, right? So, and I'm not done wrestling. My purpose isn't done yet, right? I can continue to wrestle, at the senior level and stuff. So, yeah,
Absolutely.
it was good.
And folks, I'll tell you what. Let's just give a quick story about Colin. He's an Olympic. He qualifies for the Olympics trials.
Olympic trials, yeah.
Olympic
I
trials.
wish I would qualify for the
You
Olympics.
may, you may though. But even to get to that level, to qualify for the trials is huge. You have to go through a bunch of stuff. So you still qualify, which is fantastic. And then we're all going to be able to help you out. How many of you would like to help Colin out? I'll tell you what. Right now, he's up for what's considered the Heisman of wrestling. Seriously, it's called the Hodge Trophy, correct?
Yeah, yep, the Dan Hodge Trophy.
The Hodge Trophy, and right now he's up for it. And we're going to share that link. And I'll tell you what, we can vote him through, right?
Yeah, no
It's a popular vote. There's a bunch of people now. Thousands more are going to watch this. Let's all vote for him. In fact, here it is right here. Blast this everywhere and say, I just saw this guy, Colin Moore, Olympic trial qualifier, expected NCAA champion, have his dream taken away. And listen, man, look at this. We're doing it. Gene
That's awesome.
says, let's do it. Susan says, let's help him out. I see. I knew there was a reason also why you're coming here. But these people are going to blast it everywhere. Put it on your Facebook, folks. Put it on social media. Tell your friends. And then point them back to this interview, because this interview is so solid. I mean, there's 72-year-old men and women and 52-year-old men and women that are not as grounded. I mean, they call it midlife crisis on purpose, because it's like they see their dream not being achieved, and man, they lose their identity. You said, my identity is strong, my purpose is secure, and you're here. So Colin, you been doing pretty much like church and Bible study? I know everybody goes up and down, but you've been going through like a good relationship with God over the last few years.
Yeah. It's definitely say I've had my ups and downs, but definitely the last 2 years for sure. I've been really trying to stay um towards God.
Grounded, yeah.
I always want to be I always want to be moving towards God, right? Coach Ryan always says if you're not moving towards, you're moving away. So I always want to be moving, towards God, and that's kind of been my goal.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, listen, folks, here's
Yeah,
what we're going to do. We're going to go. Everyone's voting you up, by the way. This is fantastic.
appreciate it, guys.
Oh yeah, no problem. In fact, we'll do our part, and we'll blast it out a bunch of places. But here's what I want to challenge everyone to do. Like, this was amazing. We're going to hear from a musician at 9 p.m. He's actually going to sing us a song at 9 p.m. You have guitar, my friend. I know you got your guitar
I left
behind you.
it upstairs on purpose.
Did you leave it upstairs? Okay.
Yeah,
All
I left
right.
it upstairs.
All right. But we are going to go to the VIP group, and we're going to talk about the mindset of a champion, because wrestling is, man, it's one of those sports where like you can't blame it on the ref because no one wants to hear it. You can't blame it on your teammate. I mean, it's really you and you. And I think that that's what the entrepreneurial game is. You can't blame it on the man, the boss, the economy. It's you. And we're going to give some total gold here in a moment, because you heard Tom Ryan last night. Now you're going to see someone who's been coached by him for all 4 years.
Yeah, 5.
5. So you red
Yeah.
shirt.
Yeah, red shirt senior. Yeah.
So Colin's going to talk about some of that warrior mindset that's necessary as an entrepreneur. And I tell you what, folks, here's my commitment. All right. My commitment is everybody who upgrades right now to VIP. I checked with Colin because I don't want to break the NCAA rules, but when he's eligible, we're writing him a check and just saying, hey, man, continue your journey on the Olympics pursuit and all that. So everybody now who upgrades to VIP right now, we're gonna sign off, put the VIP link, and anybody who upgrades to VIP, we're writing Colin a check, because he needs it, man. He's a 22-year-old man of God who is going to do amazing things and keep doing amazing things. So go ahead, upgrade. And right now we have what's called the after party. And there's the link, and it's $97. You get the entire conference, all the bonus sessions, including last night, and all of the next 6 days, forever access. So Colin, thanks so much for being here. And any final word that you have for anybody who might be struggling tonight?
I would just say turn to God. That's always been the great answer for everything I've gone through. So there's no better, source for wisdom. There's no one else who can really fill that hole or carry that burden for you. So yeah,
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Well, you inspired young and old tonight. Folks, we're going to say good night, and we'll see the rest of you at 9 p.m., which is in 25 minutes. But the VIPers, go to your private group, and you can ask Colin questions. We're going to talk about the warrior mindset. Thanks so much for being here, my friend.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.